Welcome to this overview of the Glastonbury Code of Ethics. Whether you're an elected official, appointed official, a town employee, or a consultant, this video will help you understand the ethical standards that apply to your role. First, let's cover confidential information. You're responsible for keeping confidential information secure. According to the Code of Ethics, you can't share or use any non-public information unless it's for your official duties or legally required. Let's look at an example. A town employee named Connor is working on a sensitive land acquisition project. During a casual conversation, he accidentally mentions details about the project to a friend. Later, his friend mentions those details to others, not knowing it was confidential information. It's important to keep confidential information secure. Next, let's cover the ethic code around personal or financial gain. First, you can't seek or demand personal gain for yourself or anyone close to you. For instance, John is a town official who oversees the approval of permits. He offers a local contractor a fast track for the permit approval in exchange for free renovation services on his home. By using his position for his personal gain, John is violating the Code of Ethics. Second, you can't use your position or any confidential information for financial gain. This applies to you, your family, or a business associate. For example, Susan learns about a future town development project before it's made public, and she mentions it to her brother, suggesting it could be a great investment opportunity for him. This is a violation of the ethics policy. Next, you can't deceive others, either directly or through omission of facts, while doing your job. An exception for this is police officers in the performance of their official duties. For example, Mike is a town consultant and is writing a report on a contractor's qualifications. He notices some past performance issues, but leaves them out of his report, hoping to push the project forward smoothly. This is a violation of the ethics policy. And finally, you can't withhold information or make dishonest statements that mislead others. Let's look at an example of this. Emily has updated cost estimates for a town project, but doesn't share them with her supervisor, thinking it won't matter in the long run. This could unintentionally break the code, as it affects how decisions are made. The next section we will cover is gifts and favors. You cannot solicit or accept any valuable gift, whether it's a service or loan at a reduced rate, a material item, or a promise from anyone who has an interest in a business transaction related to your responsibilities. Let's look at an example. Hakeem is a town official overseeing a bidding process for a new construction project. A contractor who is interested in winning the bid offers Hakeem a weekend getaway, even though he didn't ask for the gift. Accepting the offer is a violation of the code. No official, employee, or consultant should accept or seek any special treatment or advantage beyond what's generally available to citizens of the town from anyone with a vested interest in a pending matter. For example, Ratish is a town planner, and he is offered priority installation on new kitchen appliances by a store owner whose development project is awaiting his approval. Accepting it would provide him with a benefit unavailable to other citizens, creating a conflict of interest. This includes applications to agencies, bids for work, employment applications, or bids for supplies, equipment, or services. For example, Eric is responsible for reviewing job applications, and he is offered free concert tickets by an applicant's friend. If Eric accepts, it could influence his hiring decision, which would be a violation. Let's review what is a valuable gift. A valuable gift is defined as anything over $50 in value. This can include things like entertainment, food, drinks, travel, or lodging, if their value exceeds $50 for a single occasion or $100 total from the same person in 1 year. It also includes loans that are not offered at reasonable market-based terms. Even donations made on your behalf that result in any personal favor or advantage are considered valuable gifts. However, political contributions that are reported are not considered valuable gifts. Commercially reasonable loans are acceptable, as long as they're made under typical market terms. Gifts from family members are not considered valuable gifts. These are only considered a valuable gift if the family member does not live in the same household and has a business interest in a matter under your purview. Other exceptions include ceremonial awards like plaques if they cost less than $50. Honorary degrees also are not considered valuable gifts. Lastly, meals, tickets, or lodging are considered a valuable gift if it's over $50. And this also counts as a valuable gift if the total gifts from the same person exceed $100 in a single year. For example, Lon has been meeting with a friend every week for lunch, and each week the other person picks up the tab. The average tab is $40. After only 4 weeks, this could be considered a valuable gift. Lon will need to split the bill to avoid breaking the code of ethics. Now we will cover equal treatment. Without proper authorization, you cannot accept, seek, grant, or cause to be granted any special consideration, treatment, or advantage for yourself or your family because of their position. Let's look at an example of this. Mark is an elected official who has requested a room reservation at the public library. The library room is not available for the purpose Mark requested. If Mark calls the library staff and uses his position as an elected official to reserve the room, this is a breach of the ethics code. Next, let's review what a conflict of interest is. You have a conflict of interest if you participate in any contract, decision, or transaction that conflicts with your ability to carry out your responsibilities in the public's best interest. Let's look at an example. Deb is a town official who is reviewing bids for a contract, and one of the bidders is a close friend. Her personal relationship could impair her judgment and create a conflict of interest, even if no financial benefit is involved. A conflict of interest happens when you have a financial or personal interest that could benefit from the decisions you make in your job. For example, David is on a committee to award a contract for road resurfacing. However, he owns stock in one of the companies bidding for the job. If David participates in the decision-making process, this is a conflict of interest. However, not every financial or beneficial interest creates a conflict. If the benefit someone receives is the same as any other member of their profession or occupation, it does not create a conflict. Jane, a teacher employed by the public school system, is part of a committee that advocates for better pay for teachers across the district. She stands to benefit from a pay raise if it is approved by the school board. Jane does not have a conflict of interest because the pay raise applies equally to all teachers in the district, not just her. Next, let's review disclosure. If you feel like there is conflict of interest with any decision you are responsible for, you must disclose it. This disclosure disqualifies you from being involved in that decision. Let's look at an example. John is serving on the town council, and John owns a farm in South Glastonbury. A vote has come up on a resolution that will have a direct impact on John's farm. John discloses his conflict of interest and abstains from voting on that resolution. If you have a personal financial interest or something to gain from a decision being made by a town agency, you cannot represent a party in that matter unless you first tell the agency about your financial interest. Let's look at an example of this. David serves on the Board of Education and participates in his family's plumbing business. The business is applying for a permit to work on a public building. Before David can speak on behalf of the business during the permit approval process, he must disclose his financial interest in the company. If you are unsure if there is a conflict of interest, you need to disclose the possible conflict of interest to the following. If you are a member of an elective or appointive board, commission, or committee, you need to disclose any possible conflict of interest to that same body. If you are a town employee or official appointed by the town manager, you must disclose any possible conflict of interest to the town manager. If you are a Board of Education employee, you must disclose any possible conflict of interest to the superintendent of schools. If you are the town manager, you must disclose any possible conflict of interest to the town council. If you are the superintendent of schools, you must disclose any possible conflict of interest to the Board of Education. If you're a consultant working for the town or Board of Education, you must inform the person responsible for executing your contract, usually the town manager or another official overseeing the project. After this disclosure, the board or individual receiving this disclosure will make a record of the disclosure and inform you if you should abstain from participating in the transaction or decision. Any questions regarding a possible conflict of interest can be referred to the Ethics Commission for an advisory opinion. Now, let's review employment or activities that might conflict with your work with Glastonbury. You cannot engage in or accept private employment if it conflicts with your ability to properly perform your official duties, or if it would impair your judgment in making fair decisions. For example, Tom is an elected official and takes a part-time job with a local developer. since this private employment could influence Tom's decisions as an elected official. This is an ethics violation. The Code of Ethics does not override state laws that regulate the conduct of municipal officials. The next two sections cover your actions after serving Glastonbury. You cannot represent someone before an agency you used to work for within 1 year of leaving that position, unless they get approval through a favorable advisory opinion from the Ethics Commission. For example, Mark served on the Town Planning and Zoning Board and professionally works as a private consultant. A few months after leaving office, he's asked to represent a local business in front of the board. He would need to get approval from the Ethics Commission to represent the business. You cannot represent someone before an agency on matters you personally participated in during your time working for the town for 1 year after you leave, unless the Ethics Commission provides approval. For example, Samantha is a former consultant for the town and was involved in an inclusionary zoning study. After she leaves her role, a developer asks her to appear before the town to discuss how inclusionary zoning policies would affect the development. Because she was personally involved in the matter while working for the town, she can't represent the developer for 1 year unless the Ethics Commission grants her permission. You can still represent yourself, but to avoid conflicts of interest, you should be cautious about appearing before any agency you are affiliated with, unless you've received approval from the Ethics Commission. Finally, you should always disclose whether you are speaking in public in their official capacity or as a private citizen, to avoid any appearance of impropriety.
Good evening. Jim Zeller, 210 Woodland Street. In the interest of full disclosure for some who don't know, I'm a member of the Board of Finance, but I represent no one on the Board of Finance. I don't represent the Board of Finance. I represent me and myself alone.
Finally, let's review requests from the Commission. You may request an advisory opinion from the Commission as to whether conduct would violate the code. This is available either through a form available through the Glastonbury Town Clerk's Office or through the town's website. A failure to comply with the code shall be considered grounds for censure, reprimand, suspension, demotion, removal, or dismissal. Any member of the public may submit an inquiry asking whether a current official, consultant, or employee has failed to comply with the code. You can do this by completing a form available through the Glastonbury Town Clerk's Office or through the town's website. The Commission may itself initiate an inquiry regarding a possible violation of the code. We hope this video has made you aware of what ethical code is required while serving Glastonbury. Thank you for watching.